I would like to call the February 8th, 2024 regular board meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. And at this time, I'll lead us in an invocation. If everybody wants to stand, the Pledge of Allegiance. Father, thank you so much for your love and your grace to us. Thank you for this community we live in and serve in. Lord, thank you for these great administrators and staff serving our kids in this community. And Lord, I just invite you to give us wisdom, discernment, direction, that we can continue to do what's best for kids in our community and our school system. And we trust you to do that in Christ's name. Amen. Joe, could you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to thank our greeters for tonight's meeting, Matt Combs, our principal at Pickens High School, and Scott Stevens, our principal at Tate Elementary. Thank you. The next item is approval of the agenda. Dr. Thomas, do we have any amendments to the agenda?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So,
Okay, Sue Finley. Second, Joe Wigington. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. All right. The agenda has been approved. All right. So now is time for our recognitions, and turn it over to you, Dr. Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lau. One of the things we started in January was the Dragon Award Program. And it's in honor of teachers, support staff members, and students from all grade levels and disciplines who are improving student achievement using innovative strategies in the classroom and making a difference in the lives of Pickens County School District students. There will be 2 Dragon Award winners each month, and you earn this distinction by being nominated. Anyone can nominate, and these nominations are reviewed by our HR department and communications team who selects the recipients. This month, our Dragon Awards will go to one of our academic coaches and one of our bus drivers. So this time I'm going to turn the program over to our Assistant Superintendent, Chris Parker, if he'll read the information for our Dragon Strong Award.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, board. A goal area of the Pickens County School District is to have effective communication engagement. So one way we do that is recognizing 2 of our people, students or staff, every month. So this month, the first Dragon Award winner we got is Miss Kim Caron. Miss Kim Caron, yeah, we're going to This is what people said about you, Miss Caron. That Kim is always asking, how can I help? She's always pleasant with everyone she's around. She never has an unkind word for anyone. She's constantly checking on the staff to see if they're okay and always stepping in where there's a need without asking. This goes the same with students. She cares about them. She goes above and beyond to see that their needs are met. That's Ms. Pack. Ms. Duncan said Kim Caron goes above and beyond to serve others. As an academic coach, she listens to teacher concerns and needs and offers reasonable solutions. She's well liked among students and staff because of this. Ms. Caron takes initiative to get to know her students and build relationships with them. She's willing to work with anyone. And then from Ms. Waters, we heard Kim always goes above and beyond to make sure everyone is successful, every teacher and every student. So I want to give our monthly Dragon Award to Ms. Kim Caron at Pickens Junior High. Come on up.
Maybe not. Yes, that's right.
that was your car off center.
Very well deserved, and that's selected from our what we call our certified support staff, be counselors, media specialists, academic coaches, people who support students that are certified but working in a different field in the classroom right now. Our next group this month was bus drivers. Bus drivers, a great group there, and our award winner is Mr. David Ashworth. And Mr. David is the first bus. Ms. Arnold's here. She gave us this. She said Mr. David is the first bus to arrive and always pause and welcome. His bus is tidy. He meets all of the following indicators of an unsung hero. He takes initiative without being prompted and without fanfare. He's a positive and steady presence. He demonstrates exceptional reliability. He's always willing to help where and where he's needed. And Ginger Grimmett works at transportation, told me that David is a very dedicated driver. He does an amazing job. He's a former train conductor. He said with the Blue Ridge Scenic Railway, and David always had a smile on his face and a love for everyone. And I had my own story because David just had a birthday, probably about 30-something, right? He just had a birthday, and he said that they came on the bus and almost everybody in the transportation department wished him a happy birthday.
35 people, I bet you said happy birthday on the radio.
Yes, and I was one of them. I was the 36th maybe. Mine was only by email. And so we got to talk a little bit that way. But David, we appreciate all you do, and we're going to recognize you this month as our bus driver representative for this Dragon Award. Come on up.
What, am I supposed to stand here?
Yeah, right over here.
We lost it, man.
That'd be great.
Thank you very much. Stay here as long as I can, but.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Taking care of our students.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's great, guys. Thank you so much for your service. I love recognizing those people who are doing great things in our system, so thank you. Dr. Thomas, would you introduce the well, you already done that, Superintendent's report. Dr. Thomas, would you turn the meeting over I'm going to turn it over to you for our reports.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Loud. At this time, we're going to call back up to the podium our Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Chris Parker. We recently had a career field trip with about 60 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students who went to Ashworth this past Tuesday, and so he's going to give us an update on how that went.
Yeah, another goal of our district is we want every person who graduates Pickens High School to be enrolled, enlisted, or employed. And we have initiatives throughout the year to help with that. And one of the things we do is work with the Chamber of Commerce and the local colleges and the biggest businesses in the county on our Education Workforce Development Committee and try to find opportunities to get students engaged and show what they can do, even back here in Pickens County. So this year we took 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students that we had targeted for people that may need more interest or may not have a career path at this moment, and took them to Chat Tech and Ashworth, where they have a little more programs than we have in here. We take them here too. But this day we took them to Ashworth and showed them everything they can study and what those jobs pay and what those jobs do. And we had 60-some students and a bunch of staff members go down there. And Jennifer made me look good and made a video, so I didn't have to learn all this. But I was there. I watched this. But Martha's going to play this video real quickly and show you a couple things we were doing.
Hi, my name is Janet Champion. I'm one of the counselors at Pickens High School.
And I'm Daniel Bell. I'm the College and Career Coordinator at Pickens High School.
We've had an incredible day today. We took students in grades 9 through 11 on a career field trip to our Chat Tech campus in Ashworth. And I'm going to let Mr. Bell explain some of the things that they got to see today.
Yeah, students got to see today, we primarily focused on manufacturing and healthcare and the different programs that's taught here at the North Metro campus in Ashworth, Georgia. And focusing in on the skills and things that students would need in these areas that fit into, that align with the two of our primary needed professions in the state of Georgia.
It's in particular in North Georgia, because they went over all the stuff in the health science field as well as the manufacturing field. And I was really excited about how many students were asking questions.
Yeah, that's great.
And were exposed to things that they might not have thought about before. So it's been a really successful day.
Yes, it has. And the exposure to these students now coming here, getting to see these things, we predict for sure that they'll come back and start asking us a lot of questions, and then we can help map out how to get there. So I look forward to getting back to Pickens High School just so that we can help these students move forward.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Amberly Godfrey, President and CEO of the Pickens County Chamber of Commerce, And we are so thankful to have a partnership with our local school systems and colleges in our community so that we can bring our businesses and our education facilities together with this education and workforce development committee that we have. And we're thankful that the opportunities that our students in the community have to explore the professions of healthcare, industry, manufacturing, hospitality, and all of the other industries that our businesses in our community need. As you well know, sometimes hiring is one of the toughest spots that businesses have, so this committee can bring these elements together to make it a better, stronger community for our businesses and our families and our students. Thank you.
My name is Vincent Stanley. I am a student from Pickens High School. The best thing I've kind of learned so far is the CDL driving course, I'm operating trucking, and so that'll probably be something interesting after my military career life. Anything from there, probably do some mechanic too, a little bit of that as well. So there's a few things that caught my attention to I may do after my career that I'm going to do.
Hey, my name is Clayton Prince. I'm a student at Pickens High School, and I'm in grade 9. Whenever I go in, I want to do a welder. I want to be a welder. And then from there, I learned that a diesel mechanic may be a second alternative for me.
My name is Isaac Hacker. I'm in 10th grade, and I wanted to do the welding courses first, and then go in and do the CDL school.
Good afternoon, I'm Shane Evans with Chattahoochee Technical College. I serve as the Dean of Economic Development. We're excited today to have Pickens County High Schools, 9th through 11th grade, being able to tour our manufacturing and healthcare programs. I think it's a great opportunity for these students to see what career opportunities are available, hear from our instructors, and find out if possibly dual enrollment or technical college is a fit for them, as well as explore some other opportunities that they may have in the different industries and see the jobs that are available throughout our region here in North Georgia.
Thank you.
Thomas,
Yes.
if I might add, during our work session Friday, Dana Bell came and spoke to us about dual enrollment. And I'm close on the numbers, may not remember exactly, but our dual enrollment numbers a decade ago were just a couple hands full. Now we're up over 170 kids who participate in dual enrollment. That's been really one of our greatest success stories, and I applaud Mr. Bell and everyone involved in that. I just wanted to share that briefly.
Mr. Parker, thank you. And this is one of our initiatives is to make sure that every graduate we have from Pickens High School starting this May and then in continuing Mays is either enrolled or listed employed once they graduate. So this certainly helps our students at the younger ages go ahead and develop a plan before they become seniors. So thank you for organizing that, Mr. Parker. At this time, we'll call up our CFO, Ms. Amy Smith, to give us a brief financial update.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. I know Parker's not that much taller than me, so I'll get down that. Just wanted to give you a little information. Of course, we present the financial reports every month, but I don't know if y'all are aware of a couple of things. One is this is a requirement. We are to give the board financial information every single month, whatever it may be. There are some minimums that we must meet. We go a little above those minimums for the information we provide. So another part, though, is in our strategic plan, we have goals for organizational effectiveness. This is one of the tools that we use to make sure that we're efficient, effective in the operational side of the finances. We need to make sure these budgets stay in line. We need to make sure you know what's going on and we know what's going on with our funds. Of course, you don't want to let the money get away from you, and I'm certainly not going to let it. So that's just a little background for you, and then we'll go over our general fund. Revenue collected through the month of January 2024 was 67.31% of our budgeted revenue, and we expended 49.65% of our budgeted expenditures. You will see one line item that is negative. Do not panic. This is from the bonus that we paid out, the governor's bonus back in December. Those funds have now come in. We will be doing a budget amendment, but as you know, we paid it out prior to receiving those funds to help our folks out. So We have several things that need to come in next month, quite a few kind of blend together. I'm going to bring them all to you at one time, so I don't have to keep coming back to you with those amendments. So we'll have a nice large one next month for you. It will include the bonuses. Our consolidation of funds reflects expenditures through January 2024, and transfers have been made to those federal funds through December. Most of these funds are instructional funds at the school level, and it's the K-8 school level, and then our academic coaches at each school K-8. We have no debt, of course. Our capital outlay funds, our SPLOST revenue for January 2024 hit a new all-time high, $821,930.29 for the month. Those funds are, for the most part, from December sales. So thank you, Christmas. Thank you, people, for spending money locally. That's great. It helps our community and the school system tremendously. Interest earned is $1,166.76. Expenditures totaled $142,652.89. And the month-end SPLOST balance was $14,480,451.44. Don't get too excited. Y'all know what projects we have out there already approved. Just set up some of the GMP contract information for Chris and Charmin today, so we'll keep that in line for you. Special revenue funds, we've collected 30.51% of our budgeted revenue and have expended 56.69% of budgeted expenditures. I was going to remind you that those funds have to be spent first, and then we can request the grant monies typically. So we've not overspent, we just have to spend it, and then we get to request it. Y'all have any questions? That's all I have.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. At this time, we'll call up Chris Wallace, our Chief Operations Officer. Chris is going to give us an update on some new construction as well as operations.
Hey, good evening, Chairman Lau, board members, Dr. Thomas. One of the goal areas for our Pickens County School District strategic plan is organizational and operational effectiveness, and each of our initiatives in the operations department fall under this goal area. So I'll start out with the field house. I appreciate all of you guys participating and being present for the groundbreaking ceremony today. I felt like that went really well, and it was nice to see so many people excited about how the project's progressing and where we're headed with that, and what all opportunities it's going to open up for our athletes and other activities down there in the future. So I was excited to see that. And Martha, I'm going to get her to bring a couple of photos. You guys saw this live and in person today, but as we progress through some of these photos, that's a picture, of course, where it's going to be with some of the storm sewer work that we had, storm drain work we had to get done. Had to move a few utilities around that area, and that's a view looking back up the hill, and there's a utility mark there that they had to reroute. And then if you keep going, Martha, that is more of a current view from the level there where the retaining wall is going to be behind the field house itself. And then they'll, of course, slope that back, and then there's the grade for the practice field area. So that's going to be quite an extensive amount of dirt still yet to be moved, but they have moved about a third of the dirt that they need to. So good weather, hopefully we can get through that pretty quickly, but I'd say you'll see some progress on that structure pretty quickly. They're going to move pretty fast on that. And then from the operations, other part of operations, one thing I want to bring to your attention is we've been dealing with some roof issues, as you guys know, on the main gym at the high school. The auxiliary gym hasn't shown up any problems, haven't shown us any problems yet, but it's the same type of roof with the exact same metal that's on there. And so I really do think that's just a matter of time. It put on at the same time, built at the same time. So I think we have the same issue there. We've had 4 or 5 different people come and look at it, companies, and kind of give us the same, same song and dance there for what we're up against. I think it was just a bad application for the design, to be honest with you. So we have created RFP, and it is under legal review at this time. The next part I'll go to is the fleet management GPS tracking software and equipment that we are in the process of implementing into our white fleet. We have about 25 white fleet vehicles that we operate, but I'd say more about like 18 that we operate on a daily basis. And so we are going with a company. I researched this heavily to determine what fit our needs the best. And so, it does more than just track. It gives us, some fuel management information. If there's some type of, trouble code or some type of maintenance issue, it can actually link back and send an alert, let you know if there's an issue. Also, regular scheduled maintenance, you get the opportunity to do that with it. So it does a lot. It's had the driver habits and the scoring stuff. I know we looked at that before for some other vehicles in our fleet, some buses, when we were looking at GPS for that. So does some risk assessments for us. There's a possibility that, talk to insurance and let them know we have this could help us with some insurance rates. You never know, because you have a way to track and you have a way to kind of manage the vehicle a little bit better there. So the last thing I want to give you in operations was that we met up with a guy named Randy Powell in Diversified Technology, who operates our radio systems in our buses and at our schools. So all the radio systems we use, we are looking to better enhance the coverage that we have right now. We're probably at about 70% according to Diversified in the county. Well, as y'all know, we do more than 70% bus routes, right? Bus routes cover more than 70% of the county. So we're trying to expand that. Luckily, we have a good relationship with Randy Powell. He owns the site at the very end of Monument Road. It's at 3,300 feet before you even get on the tower. And so we met up there, Dr. Shea, Joey Satterfield, myself, we met up there, do a site visit, and we're going to be moving a site from in town here, where we are consolidating a lot of it in one area, to looking at putting that station up there, and we are very close to getting that done. They want to do it when buses aren't running. So we have targeted spring break as a week. They got a little bit more work to do on the backside, and some equipment to get in here. But spring break is when the install date is planning to go in, and then that'll give us a few days to try to check and make sure things are working right, and we have to reprogram some radios in the buses. So it's quite complicated, but we got the right people involved to make sure that happens effectively. So.
Excuse me,
Yes,
just
yes, ma'am.
if you wouldn't mind just backing up a little bit. There may be some of us who don't know what RFP stands
Sure.
for. I mean, it's easy sometimes to get caught up in the alphabet soup, but if you'll just explain what an RFP is for everybody.
So when you do a project, regardless of where the funding comes from, for school districts and municipalities, you have to put out a request for proposal. So in other words, it's a document that is a legal document that you have to create from the district side, and then you have to get a legal team to review it and make sure that it's legally sound before you can advertise the job. And anything over that is estimated to be over $100,000 has to require those items. And so, everyone's different. Depends on the method that you're going to go. We saw the project today. That's a CM at risk project. What we're going to be doing with the roofs would be a design build. So in other words, the person that you contract with facilitates the design of it and does the build out, meaning that they will be the actual ones to do the work. And so we are going to be able to control who we actually use, whereas with a CM at risk, they bid out and then they usually take the lowest bid there, but you do have some autonomy still. But this takes out the CM in that percentage. So we would contract directly for these smaller projects like this. A little bit easier. That would be more difficult on that project you saw today. That would be really hard for us to do something like that, in-house. So that's a good question. Thanks for bringing that up. I glossed right over the RFP part. A lot of acronyms in education, so sometimes we're bad about just spilling them out, right? So, any other questions about the operations update? Anything there? The only other thing I have is just a few things from Beth Thompson. As you can see there, our nutrition director, and from Gail Smith, they're our health services director, and we do have 2 students that we're still working with on compliance issues, and they're 2 very unique situations that we're working through, but otherwise everybody else has been caught up and is in compliance there with immunization. So good there, and then got our new buses on the ground, and getting the radios and the camera systems installed in those, and they'll be on the road shortly. So any questions for me about the update or anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. At this time, we'll call up Mr. Matt Combs. This is the 5th installation of our 6 schools, and we have had one of our principals present every month about what's going on in their school. Mr. Combs is the principal of Pickens High School, and he's also our resident greeter. He's greeting every time we have a board meeting.
Is there any way to pull this? Well, I only got about 63 slides, so stick with me for a second. We go all the way back to the beginning. All right. Well, it really wasn't 63, but I promise it won't be 22 minutes either. Dr. Thomas, members of the boards, thank you. I'm really excited to stand up here and talk to you about Pickens High School because it's a special place. And I've really enjoyed my time, and I'm very proud to call myself the principal of Pickens High School. You see up here, move to better. Anytime someone new comes in, the first thing they want to know is change, right? What are you going to change? What are you going to do? And I try to take that word out of our vocabulary. Take what we're doing and let's make it better. Take where we're going and let's make it better. So that was kind of our initiative that we started at the beginning. So move to better has been kind of our motto going through. Before I go into what we're going to do, I'd like to start or take you through where we started, where we're at, and then where we're going. But before we do, I gotta give some recognition to our swimmers. So last night, if you don't know this, we had our swim team finish 7th in the 400 relay. All right, so Savannah Redford, Annabella Jordan, May Stevens, and Ari Stevens. This is the highest finish ever of any swim team at Pickens High School. Very, very proud. I think they got home last night about 1 o'clock, and Miss Bramlett was at school, but she was excited and on top of the world, as they should be. So here we go. Pickens High School, roughly about 1,268 students. There's 134 staff members, and I'm not going to read it through. Most of this time we've already seen. We had Miss Parker come up here earlier in the year and talk about the CTAE. As we said, Mr. Bells talked about the 179 different students taking dual enrollment. What we can see here, what I think is important here, is that we always try to get every student involved at the school. The more the student is involved, the more the successful the student is going to be. And you see all the different ways that the students can be involved. I'd also like to draw our attention to the accelerated career pathway, and we see what we're doing there. If you don't know about this, there's an opportunity with the right amount of certificates and the 9 core classes taken that these students can graduate early. All right, and they can go off into trade school. And so what we're seeing is a projected number of 21 by the year of 2025 students that are going to finish with our accelerated career model. So it goes right along with what Dr. Thomas's initiative from the beginning of the year, everyone enroll, enlisted, or employed, right? So as we see here, I started in June, came up here about 15 days. And I'm a big let the data drive the decisions. All right, and I started diving in and started talking to people, and I would ask surveys, and I would sit down at lunch with all the different members of our community, different members of our high school, and in talking to them, you know, we talk about we want success at Pickens High School. That's what we want to be. We want to be successful. We want to be the best. If we don't want to be the best, then why are we doing what we're doing? But when I was getting the feedback and talking to them, what I got a lot of is, you know, staff members would say, students, you know, we got to work on the behavior, or we need the administration more present, or administration, we need the teachers teaching more, or we need the teachers out of the hallway. But what I kept hearing was, we're looking at these as mutually exclusive events. You know, and we can't look, in order to have success, we can't look at these as mutually exclusive. If we truly want to have impact, and we truly want to be successful, and we truly want to be the best, that money spot is when those 3 groups come together, right? In that little sweet spot, and when they're working together and working in that same direction, that's when we can truly impact our community. So during that time, it reminded me of this. I don't know who kind of takes the credit for it, but we've kind of seen it throughout the time. If you talk about coaching world, business world, different models, culture drives behavior, behavior drives results, right? We've seen it. If you got a good culture, you're going to have good behavior. If you have good behavior, we're going to have great results. And we always talk about we want the results and we want to go straight to the end, but it's the means to get to the end. So I took this model, and what I did with it is what we want to do at Pickens High School is we want to build relationships. We want to laugh, right? And we want to learn. Because if those students aren't building relationships with the teachers and the adults in the building and with their peers, and they're not laughing, then we're not going to learn. And I think it's going to show here in some of the data that we've seen. So, we wrote a school improvement plan, we talked and I said, all right, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? We want to focus on one area. If we come together and we try to say 15, 16 different things, then it's going to get lost in the shuffle. What's that one area that we can focus on and really hammer home? So we said TEAG's Performance Standard 7, positive learning, right? I'm not going to read it to you again, but what's important about this is not a mutually exclusive event. This is not just our teachers impacting it. This has to mean that our administrators got to be out in the building, or our administrators got to be in the classrooms. All right, so we started an initiative with our administrators that we're going to do 1-minute walkthroughs. That our goal is every single week that we're going to get in the classroom. And I can tell you right now, we've had over 879 1-minute observations by our administrative team. All right, that's being present, being in the classroom, seeing what's important. Our students, well, how are we going to impact our learning environment of the students? What do you got to do? What's the biggest evil right now we have with our students? We got to remove the cell phones. I know you guys have all heard about the cell phone policy at Pickens High School, right? There is no cell phone during instructional time. We've taken them away. And in that 1-minute walkthrough, we go through as administrators and we mark off, observed or not observed. If we observe that there's a cell phone policy, if a student wants to leave the classroom, you have to leave your cell phone in order to go to the bathroom. Well, they go to the bathroom a lot quicker, right? Because they don't want to be as long without that safe cell phone. And then the teachers, the support. We talked about doing some professional learning, and we talked about some data and looking at the data and see, are the students really learning, all right? So that's how we started. That's where we started at. And now let's talk about where we're at right now. So these were our 3 school improvement goals. I'm not going to go through and look at it. I want to draw your attention to the blue one. All right, this was our school climate, and it talked about, this was based on our state of Georgia school health survey. All right, and you look through it, you look at it, and you talk about most days I look forward to going to school. 22, 23, the percentage, the answer to the response was only 40%, right? Adults in the school treat students with respect, 70%. Students in my school treat each other with respect, 20%. And then behaviors in my classroom allow the teacher to teach so I can learn, 40%. Well, if we're not taking care of the behaviors, again, right, what are we not getting? We're not getting results. So again, that positive learning is helping us focus on this aspect of it. So here's where we're at today. You can look at it and you can see right now we've given these exact same 4 questions every 9 weeks to the students. All right, and we've gone through and we've asked these students the same 4 questions, and this is the response that we're going to. And you look, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the bottom one, behaviors in the classroom allow students to teach so I can learn. Well, we're up to 79 or 70% almost, right? We've taken away the distractions so that we can learn. Now, obviously, the next thing you would look at is the adults in my school treat students with respect. That's a drop. Well, is there a causation or is there a correlation? You know, all of a sudden, we're starting to give discipline. We're taking care of the discipline. Now that the teachers don't respect me. The teachers don't like me. So what we kind of expect is that's going to go down a little bit. Then they're going to understand, you know what, we're your teachers, we're your adults, we're not your friends, and we love you and we care about you. All right? We see the growth in the 7% of looking forward to come, and we see growth of about 16% of treating each other with respect, but I'm going to talk about these 2 here in a little bit because those numbers are too low for me. All right? So in order to get those up, now I put this in here for my elementary teachers, all right, because we like to have clip art. So here we are. That's my best effort, guys. So we understand we still got 3 hurdles that we have to overcome right now. And I think the first one of those hurdles is it's not okay to be okay. All right? We talk about with our teachers, hey, if we're the flagship school of our community, then you know what? We set that standard. We set that precedence, and we're going to set the standard for the entire community. It's not okay to be okay. We want to be the best, and we want to do whatever we're doing at our best ability. The second one of it is, these are all of our students. All too often we want to talk about, you know what, my student in this class, or the student in Mr. Lau's class, or the students at Hill City, or the students at Harmony. These are all of our students, and these are what we got. All right, these are exactly what we got. So when a teacher comes up and talks to me, you know what, the student's down in 8th grade. You mean our students in 8th grade? Because they're coming to us next year. You know what? And this is where they're at. This is what we got. So we can continue to complain about it, guys, or we got to drag them along and get them to where we want to be. And I think the last part of it is the islands. You know, we had a lot of teachers and communities. Our departments would be on islands. There wouldn't be much interaction. My leadership teams were on islands. There wouldn't be much interaction. Within the departments are on islands. You can't be successful that way. We can't. We have to have communication. 2 keys to a successful school is common planning and standard practices. All right, so the islands, here's what we've done with it for coming in at January 3rd. At the beginning of the year, PLCs, it's long, I'll give you the cliff notes. Basically what we did was we wanted our teachers to come in and do check for understandings. All right, we call them CFAs, checks for understanding, check the data. Are the students learning it? Because all too often we can have the best idea in the world, but are they really learning? That was the best lesson in the world, but are they really learning? Man, those students got it. What does the data say? All right? So it was tough for the teachers initially because you had to self-reflect a lot. You know, I thought it was the best lesson, but only 40% of the students passed those 5 CFA questions. Well, we might need to reflect. That's not a bad teacher. That's great teaching, wanting to be better again. So that was the first part. What we added to it this second semester was a common planning. And so now, if you take those 2 pieces and those 2 entities together, what we've done is we have the teachers coming in, they have a common planning within their group. So let's say our environmental science teachers. All right, they will come in, they will discuss what they're going to do, they will discuss what that CFA is, then they will go out and give the CFA. Within 3 days of giving that CFA, they then have to meet with Holly Riley, who I got to give credit to what she's doing with this PLCs and this common planning and the way it's going. Yes, ma'am.
Would you explain to us what a PLC is?
A professional learning community. Sorry. Thank you. It's a professional learning community. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So when we say within our professional learning community, go back to those environmental science teachers or our Algebra 1 teachers coming in and planning. So I'm going to share you. I go back to, we have a couple teachers that I've watched, we stand at our room. They stand at the door, they do a great job, they love the kids. They meet the kids, they go into the classroom, the kids leave, they do their planning and they go. So it goes back to that islands, and they've been on their own island. And so when I'm really proud of this and what we've been doing here, I was walking down the hallway last week and I hear 2 teachers talking. What is it you're doing today? Oh, I'm doing this, I made this copies for you and I put it on your desk. You choose if you don't have to do it. Oh yeah? Well, that's awesome. So what is it that you're going to do here? Well, we're going to do this, that. And I had 2 teachers that never talked to each other, that have never talked to each other out in the hallway preparing for who? Who's that going to benefit? The kids. That's what's important. And it just kind of got the hairs up on the back of my neck. It was kind of a little proud moment because there was a lot of resistance initially going through. So a couple last things in closing here. You know, some areas of what we're focusing on is class sizes and master schedule. I got to give a lot of credit to Ms. Bone and Mr. Shea on this. Mr. Shea is helping us with the master schedule and doing from an electronic and a digital part. Ms. Bone is, we've really looked at that special ed and trying to twist that up a little bit, because what was really happening with our class sizes is we were having small in our ESS kids, or very small in our AP kids. That's only about 20% of our population. The other 80% are becoming overwhelmed with, 29, 30 kids in the class. So trying to reduce it, trying to equate it across the board. Peer support, remember what I told you about when I talked about those 2 data, right? Those 2 data points that I would come back and talk to. Sources of strength. What it is it's a research-based program that uses social networking behaviors to impact change. Why does that it's right down my alley. What is it doing? It's using our social network, our peers, to impact change within our school. Good schools are led by administrators, great schools are led by teachers, but your best schools are led by your students. So if we can get our students to impact the change, and we can get the students to help, and we can start increasing, I want to come to school, and my peers treat me with respect, when are we going to also start increasing the learning? Vaping, guys, we got to talk about it. We have to say it. If any adult in this room tries to hide from it, it's something that we need to address. And this is not just a Pickens, this is a societal thing. This is a national thing. I know that I've talked with Dr. Heath at the junior high. We have North Georgia RESO trying to create a vertical initiative that we can do. Mr. Wallace can talk about what it's doing to our facilities with kids are throwing them down into toilets and stuff like that. We have to address this, and we have to attack this. And I think we're doing it. I think we could probably catch someone every single day at every single time in the bathroom. But again, how are we minimizing it? What are we doing to minimize it? Administrators present, teachers present. We're walking in our bathrooms, walking in and out. It's making it too hard for them that they're just almost giving up. So that's what we're trying. The last one is, it says academic, yes sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt. And this will be a discussion for a later time. If there's something we can do to help with the vaping, please.
Yes, sir. Again, I think that's a topic that we will have to, and it's a campaign for all of us, and Dr. Heath and everyone. The last one, academic endurance. I think every educator in this room can see that when we're talking about that our students are able to read, they're just not able to read as long. Our students are able to write, they're just not able to write as long. Our students are able to sit, but they're just not able to sit as long. All right, and I think this is the charge, should be the charge of every adult in education right now, is we have to stop looking at education in a traditional lens. All right, the way you were taught and the way we were taught is not the way we can teach these kids today. They're living, most of them are living 30 seconds at a time. Right? Most of them, it's 2 minutes and 29 seconds is the max that they have on a TikTok, but how much of them actually get to the end of that? We have to start looking at this, and I know that they're talking about trying to read longer, because what's happening in a lot of our standardized tests, they're seeing it, there's these big long passages they have to read before they answer. Well, they get the first 2 questions, I'm done with this, and I'm just going to start clicking it. It's not the ability to read, it's the ability to sustain the reading. It's not the ability to write, it's the ability to sustain the writing, but really, it's us that we have to get outside the box on how we're teaching these students. So where are we going? We talk about moving to better. We want to move to number 1. Dr. Thomas said it the first day. We want to be the number 1 mountain school in the state of Georgia in athletics, the arts, and the academics. And I stand right here saying that's what we're pushing up. And that's what our goal is. And as long as we can stay consistent with what we're doing and stay in the right direction, the foundation is laid. To be number 1, I always have to have a quote, guys. Give me a place to stand and a long lever, and I'll move the world. Archimedes is, he was a Greek mathematician, being a math guy. He created spheres and surface area and volume. And basically what this says to me is we got to give every kid in this community a place to stand. But it's not just enough to give them a place to stand, we got to give them the tools that they need to succeed, to make this the best community and make that we have here. It's a special place, and our kids are special, and I'm very honored to be a part of it, just a small part of it. So thank you, guys.
Any questions for Mr. Combs?
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Go Dragons, I'm going to a soccer game, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Mr. Lau, I got one more item under the superintendent's report. We did have some comments that I'd like to share. This is hot off the presses. We found out yesterday that a Pickens County 7th grader wins a state essay contest. We were notified that the 7th grade student at Pickens Junior High School, Townsend Rickenbacher, was named the state winner for the Daughters of the American Revolution essay contest. Townsend will be recognized at the DAR Education Luncheon in Atlanta on March 23rd, and her essay will go on to the national level contest. This year's essay topic was on John Philip Sousa's march The Stars and Stripes Forever. Students were asked to write an essay about this new song and the story behind the song, including the audience's reaction to Sousa's march when it was played for the very first time in 1897. So we're proud of Townsend. Good luck at the next level.
That is wonderful.
We also have a literary event this weekend at the high school. The Pickens Page Turner Society will host 40 students at the PAC at PHS Saturday morning, starting at 9 o'clock. Students have created artifacts in the categories of fan art, poetry, and book review, and those artifacts will be displayed on Saturday morning. Nan Flakinger from LJ, who's the author of the book Ellie J's Apples, will be our guest speaker. We also found out this week that 4 of our high school students have been named semifinalists of Governor's Honors. These 4 advanced to the final round of competition, and our 4 semifinalists are Alyssa Ross in computer science, Briley Deering in mathematics, Micah Newton in music, and Christian Wright in music. So we're certainly wishing them the best as they compete to go to Governor's Honors. 2 weeks ago, we had our 8th grade boys basketball team defeated Lumpkin in a thriller 42-40. Not only capture the Mountain League championship, but they finished the season undefeated. So congratulations to our student athletes and our coaches. And then lastly, tomorrow night is senior night at the high school. It's the last home regular season basketball game at PHS. We'll host West Hall. And so we're certainly going to pull for our Nets and our Dragons, and then the region tournament starts the next week. We have a few upcoming dates. The 19th of February is President's Day. There'll be no school, no district office open at that time, and then the rest of that week is winter break, with our schools going to be closed, and then we have a work session on March the 8th and our regular board meeting on March 14th. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. And yeah, both our Dragons and Nets are in a solid second place right now, end of the season, which would be the highest they've both ever finished together in my recollection. So, all right. Next on our agenda, approval of personnel action report. Do I have a motion to approve the amended personnel action report?
So moved.
Joe Wiggington. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Gibson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Oh. All right. Yeah, if you got some information to share on the wireless access.
Yeah, the next item on the agenda is approval of the E-rate wireless access point refresh. And just to share a little bit about that, the time has come to upgrade the wireless network in our school system. And by leveraging E-rate money with local SPLOST dollars, the wireless network will be overhauled to accept the latest wireless standards that are available to the public. The strategic implementation will also allow for additional wireless saturation within the school buildings. And the current wireless environment has been in place since 2016. So it's time for an upgrade, and we're beginning to experience equipment failures. And additionally, finding compatible replacement devices for the current environment is proving difficult. So that's our action item in terms of the E-rate wireless access point refresh.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the E-rate wireless access point refresh as presented? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Gibson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay. Dr. Thomas, do you want to run us through anything on the consent agenda, or we'll just read them off?
I think read them off is fine.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So just to look at it, we got approval of financial reports. We got an MOU for workforce preparedness grant, approval of overnight field trip for Skills USA State Conference, approval of overnight field trip for TSA State Leadership Conference, approval of overnight field trip for GHS State Swim Meet, approval of overnight field trip for FBLA State Conference, minutes from the following board meetings on January 11th, both the called and the regular, February 2nd, the called meeting, and the last item is approval of surplus from Hill City Elementary Media Center and Transportation Department. So, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Gibson,
I'll second.
Sue Finley. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay. All right. Dr. Thomas, have we received any requests for public participation at this board meeting?
No, sir, we have not.
Okay, good. All right. Do we have any board comments?
I have a comment. Well, actually, it's more of a shout out. I hope Ms. Kretschmar does not kill me for this, but I'm representing the 3rd district, which is the west end of the county. And it's been a interesting ride over at Hill City. If you have social media, you know that, because that's where we get our news from most of the time. But we also have a lady over at Hill City that there was a child that was choking, and she jumped into action and administered the Heimlich maneuver, stayed with the child because the child was upset, and helped calm that child down. And the best part of the story is that she acted like it was just another Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's Jamie Richards. I've known Jamie since our kids were little, passing by. And I think with the one incident that we're not going to talk about that one, but with that and with saving a child, basically is what she did. Awfully proud of all the schools in this system, but I appreciate Hill City for the last couple of weeks. I just do. That administration, teachers, everybody over there that jumped into action, to keep our kids safe. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Any other comments? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Joe Williams.
Third. No third?
All right, is there any further discussion?
No.
All right. All in favor? 5-0. We are adjourned at 6:56 p.m.